Morning guys, welcome to today's video. Living the dream, right? Wrong. And I'm going to go through this because I had a recent conversation with a friend of mine. I've known him for a good few years, and we just got into this conversation. I thought, you know what, it's really powerful, it's really important that I share this with people that are thinking of coming out here to live. Because even though people perceive that we are living the dream, that we are having the lifetime that we've all dreamt about and living it up, in fact the reality is quite opposite. And I'm going to go through 10 things that I want to share with you that maybe when you come out here and you start talking to people that live here, you'll understand maybe their reactions and the way they are and maybe their attitude. And likewise, if you're thinking of coming out here, what to expect and the pitfalls. And there are some that are going to be heading your way because it really is not all as glorified as it may appear from the other side. So I'm going to put some overlays over while I talk, and then we'll go through this. So number one, fantasy becomes reality. And when you think about it, people fantasize, oh, I'd love to live in Thailand, I'd love to live in Pattaya, I'd love to be able to go out every night and party hard and all the rest of it. But when that fantasy then becomes a reality, what do you do then? Because that reality will eventually become normality, and that will then become boring, and then you're going to be in a situation where you don't know what to do. So when you do come out here, you've got to have a really clear mind. You've got to have a really strong mind as well, a strong sense of direction. Because otherwise, when you come out here, first of all, every night is a Saturday night. So you think, oh, this is brilliant, I'll go out. But when it does become reality, then the attention to go out every night and the thought process is less and less. And the trouble is once you've done that, if you're staying indoors all the time, you get bored. And you know what happens when you're bored? You start thinking, you start doing stuff which is not good. So when you get out here, you've got to make sure they've got something to occupy you at your lowest point in time. Number two, what do you do when you're bored? And like I was just touching on them, if you're bored, you might sit in your condo, in your hotel, in your room, in your house, wherever you are, and you think, oh, I don't know what to do. I'll just have a quick beer. I'll have a beer. I'll just go and get a beer. So you get a beer out of the fridge, sit down and drink your beer. And then suddenly that one becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 6, becomes a daily routine. When you drink too much, you become negative. Drink is a true association with depression. And I suffer with depression. I've mentioned this many times. I've got no shame in telling you that I suffer with depression. So if you drink too much, you become depressed. If you drink too much, it makes you lethargic and you've got no energy levels. And then you start feeling depressed even more. And when you've got no energy and you've got no direction, you're just going to sit there thinking, what the hell am I doing? Why am I sitting here in this environment, in this country? Why am I doing this when I really don't know what I'm meant to be doing? There seems to be no direction in my life. Number 3, relationships. When you come out here, you fall in love 100 times a day, and it's quite understandable because there are some extremely beautiful women out here. When you walk around, it's party time, there's live music, the girls are laughing and dancing and singing and shouting and everything. So again, it's an atmosphere that's perceived to be a fantasy, but the actual real thing is it's a reality, it's a day-to-day existence. And even though you probably don't believe me, that does get boring. When I walk down the road and I see girls outside, hello sexy man, where are you going? Come and have a drink. I'm like, oh, how many times have I heard this? 1,000 times a year. So it starts to get on your nerves. But when you are looking for a relationship, it's very, very difficult, because if you're looking at the relationship in the entertainment world, well, already you're dipping your toe into a shark-infested water and you're going to wonder why you're going to get bitten. With a relationship, you are going to find quite a few of these are fake. And it's true. You might not like me saying it, but it's true. A lot of the girls here will think, right, okay, here's a foreigner. We know that, they perceive all of us to have lots of money, and they will do anything they can in order to extract that money out of you in the easiest and quickest possible way. A lot of the girls have got Thai boyfriends, and the Thai boyfriends are quite happy. You go on, sweetheart, you go and sort yourself out, go and get this money, and then we can have our life without him having to lift a finger. So when you are in a relationship, the problems are then is it's hard to be compatible. Thai lifestyle, Thai way of living is completely different to a European way of living. When I came out here, we're dedicated on time, being efficient, being organised, whereas in Thailand, it's very much more laid back, chilled out, and just relaxed. Languages, the language skills, the language barrier. people say, well, she should learn to speak a bit of English. She wants to be with an Englishman. Well, on the other side of the coin, you should learn to speak Thai if you want to be with a Thai woman in Thailand. It's their natural language. So if you have a language barrier, again, you can't communicate in the way you want. And that does lead to frustration. Even myself, I speak a very good level of Thai. I can get by. I'm not fluent by any means, but I can get by, no dramas. And again, it does lead to frustration when I can't get my point across or I can't understand what they're trying to say to me. So it does make you think, oh, God, this is so frustrating. And of course, it adds to the negativity, particularly if you've got depression or if you're feeling sad and lonely, you think, oh, why am I bothered? I can't be done with this. So again, languages are going to be an issue. And the culture. We have a saying out here, very famous, is no time like Thai time. And by that, what we mean is, if I said to you, right, I'll meet you at 9:30 tomorrow morning, I know you'll be there. And you'll be early, most of you. So 9:30 to me means 9:20. And you say 9:30 to a Thai person, and 9:59 and 59 seconds is still 9. So in their world, well, I'm on time. It's just not the same time that you wanted. They're very relaxed, very laid back. So these are aspects that may or may not cause you frustration. They may drive you insane. I'm ex-military, so the word late never existed in my world for many, many years. And even to this day, it still doesn't. I'm very punctual. I make sure I get to my appointments and wherever I've got to be before I'm needed to be there. That's just my way. But Thai people, no, it doesn't work. So it can lead to big frustrations. Friends. Friends come and go. And one of the downsides of living out here is that you will make friends. You will make acquaintances with people who think, do you know what, he's a great guy. I like spending time with him. But if he's here on holiday, then what's going to happen is in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, if he's lucky enough to come out a bit longer, but there will come a time when he's going to go back home. So then you're faced with that friend's now disappeared, so now you're back to your same circle of friends again. I've lived here 11 years. I can count on one hand how many people I would pick the phone up to and say, hey, mate, what are you up to? Do you fancy going out for a beer today, or do you fancy going out down on the beach or doing stuff? One hand. So when you are living out here, it's very hard to build a good network of friends because people come and people go. And it can ultimately leave you being alone. And again, we go back to the beginning. If you're on your own, you're getting bored. What do you do when you're bored? You start having negative thoughts, negative thinking. And that dream, this fantasy that we're supposed to be living, becomes a really hard, really harsh reality that you think, do you know what? Maybe, just maybe, I've made a mistake. Maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe I should think going back. And when you go back home, if you was to do that, what would happen then? Well, there was a reason why you left home in the first place. So ultimately, that kind of scenario will come back to you in wherever you are in your homeland. And you'll think, God, why don't I leave? Why don't I go back to Thailand? It's a vicious circle. But one thing is for sure, friends are very, very hard to come by. And you have to make sure that you keep your friends at a distance in terms of financial loans and helping out and all those other kind of things. Because I know so many people over the years that have fell out with each other and, times are tough, mate. I've got some money coming from England. You couldn't lend me 10,000 baht, could you? And then it disappear for a year. It happens. So again, be on your guard. These are kind of things that will just play on your mind a lot. Number 5, drinking. Drinking is easily and readily available out here. Now, if you're very good and you're lucky enough that you can survive on just normal drinks, soft drinks, etc., fair play to you. You're a better man than I am, so fair play to you. And I know many people that do it. I've got good friends, I won't name them. They come into the Buzzin lounge, they don't drink alcohol. And I think, do you know what? I absolutely admire and respect you because I can't do that. I'm weak. I don't have the ability to do that. I do want to have a drink. But the trouble with drinking is every day here is a party day. So when you go out, it's that party environment, so you end up drinking too much. There's a lot of things going on when you're drinking. So you have to be very aware and try and dictate, okay, I'm going to have a Friday or a Saturday. But the problem that you've got is if you are here and then your friends are arriving, what do they want to do? I get so many messages, Trev, I'm arriving on such a day, let's go out. And, I think to myself, oh, great, you're coming out, let's go out. Really, I've already had a weekend with it. So, the drinking is a very, very big part of whether you succeed or you fail out here. And I've seen some really good people I know sadly drink themselves into oblivion. And, I know one person very sadly took his own life. And it's sad. But the reason is because, like I said, this fantasy world that we're living in, that everyone perceives is going to be amazing, I can't wait, I wish I could do what you do, will become a reality. And then it's going to become very, very mundane. Eating when you come out here. Drinking and eating under the same banner. Again, if you can't eat the spicy food, you are going to be eating foreign foods. We call it foreign food, which is ultimately a lot more expensive than Thai food. If you can't eat spices, you're going to struggle with that. And, it's an issue that you might not consider right now, but when you come out and think, oh, I really fancy, I don't know, a lasagna and chips. Well, that's a premium dish because you're going to have to buy European food. So you have to go to a European restaurant. If you can eat Thai food, well, then that's great. It's going to help you. But these things are things that will affect you when you come out here. Number 6, homesick. Missing home, missing your loved ones, your family. I miss my mother, I miss my children. And people say, well, just jump on a plane, Trevor, and go back over. But it's not quite as easy as that. It might sound it, but it's not. Particularly if you're living out here and you've got an estimated budget you've got to keep towards. Flights going back home are more expensive. Where are you going to stay when you go home? Have you got the right clothing? Sounds daft, but if you've been living out here in shorts and flip-flops like I have, going back to England in the winter, I ain't going to be wearing no shorts and flip-flops. So, all these little things about the prospect of going back home and the costs involved and the cost of living. If I went back to England now, I'd probably have a heart attack seeing how much it all costs. So these are things that now you're kind of stuck here. If you're in this rut, you're stranded. You're thinking, well, I could go back, but if I go back, I'm going to spend a fortune and my budget doesn't really permit that. So, what I'll do then is I'll stay in and I'll save more money so I can afford to then go back later on when I want. And then you're staying in even more and more and more, which then leads back to the boredom, which then leads you to think, what the hell am I doing here? Why am I doing this? I hope you get, I know this is a very somber video, but I wanted to do this because I think it's important. Number 7, traveling around. If you are here and you want to travel about and you've got the finances to travel around this country, the biggest problem you're going to have is you're going to be traveling on your own. Unless you've got a Thai partner. So again, Thailand's got some wonderful provinces, some amazing areas, some great regions, and I'm going to cover a lot of these as we go in terms of future videos. But if you're on your own, isn't that just a little bit boring at times? I like traveling on my own, I really do. I actually prefer it if I'm being totally honest. But when I travel on my own, it would be nice to share those moments with somebody. It would be nice to share the experiences with somebody. And I'm lucky, I use the channel so I can share it with you guys. But the point being is if you're not doing what I'm doing, which majority of you won't, if you're traveling around, then all you're going to do is just take photos and videos. And then when you come back, say, oh, I went there, look at this. So and people are going, oh, yeah. So traveling is very difficult. It's not as easy as it may appear. You might think, I can go here, go there. But it's not as easy. And sometimes it'd be nice to travel with somebody. But who is that somebody? Because if you're going for that relationship, again, like we spoke about with the girls, are you going to find the right lady? It's very, very hard. Money. You come out here, and if you're fortunate enough that you come out here with enough money, you don't have to worry about it, well, that's good. But the majority of us will come out here with a pension, with a set budget, with a set amount of money that they think, right, that will last me this amount of years. So again, you've got to be very careful because, like I said earlier, if you party hard, you're spending. There's no doubt about it. Every time you go around the corner, there's a bar. Every time you go around the corner, there's a massage. Every time you go around the corner, there's lots of entertainment that you can go and enjoy. So you are putting yourself in a really tough position to not spend the money. Now, if you can afford it, great. But if you can't, you'll go over budget. And again, if you're over budget, that then puts you under pressure because you're thinking, oh, no, I've done that, so I know what I'll do. I spent too much today, so I'll stay in for the week and catch up. But do you really want to stay in? Is that really what you want to do? Or is it something that you need to do? And if you need to do it, then it becomes more of a prison sentence. You think, oh, God, stay in now, God. And that's when it can get tough. It can get hard. And you might have a condo with a swimming pool. You might have a condo with a gym. There's only so many times you can swim up and down or go in the gym. And then that becomes boring because you do it every time. So again, you can see the pattern here. Tomorrow, number 9, tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. And one thing that I find a lot of people do is, I've got to do that. I'll do that tomorrow. And then when tomorrow comes, it's like, I know, I should have done that. No, it's okay. I'll do that one tomorrow. We call it mañana. And it means, tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes. So if you are putting things off and you are pushing it out of the way, again, will it lose its importance? When you think, actually, I should have done that. I can't be bothered now. It doesn't matter. It's done. Or will it drive you nuts? Oh, I've got to do this and I haven't had time to do it. And I really feel like I've let myself down. And all these little negative things, these negative thoughts can come back in and they can bite you when you least expect it. Number 10. And this is the most important one, without a shadow of a doubt. and that is reaching out. I've lost count the amount of people that have come up to me and said to me, Trevor, when you shared your videos on depression, when you shared your videos on you couldn't get a hard on with your erectile dysfunction, when you shared these things publicly, they said that was amazing. And so many people could relate to what I was talking about. The biggest problem out here is people do not reach out. They do not talk. They do not share their situations. And by not doing that, it isolates them. It leaves them in a world of their own where they feel they've got nobody to talk to, nobody to reach out to, and then they just sit there and wallow in their own self-pity. And it's awful. I've been there. I've done it. I've had days when I come into the bar here, or I'm in my condo, and I just sit and I put my head down like, oh no, what's going on? It is very, very hard. So, you've got to think about who can you speak to. Do you have any really good friends that you can pick the phone up to or go and see and say, look, I need to chat to you and I want to pour my heart out and tell you how I feel? Where would you go? Do you know where there's professional help? So these are the kind of things that you need to put into perspective and just have in your back pocket ready that when it creeps up, and it will creep up at some stage, when it creeps up and grabs you, you need to think, well, I've got the answers now. I need to do that. Right. There we are. That is that video. I don't know. Maybe you'll all think, what a load of shit, and just ignore it. That's fine. No problems. Maybe some of you fell asleep listening to me, but I just wanted to make this point because I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day, and he just said to me, he said, Trev, do you know what? I'm just lost. And that really hurt because he's a good guy, a really good guy. And when he told me that he was just lost mentally, he said, he goes to the gym. I've done my gym. That's it. What I'll do for the rest of the day. I sit around, I squander around. I'm just bored. Am I doing the right thing? And I thought, what? That's a really, really powerful point. And he said to me exactly what I said to you. People think we live in the dream and we're not. Yes, it's a dream to come out on holiday. Yes, it's a dream to enjoy the nightlife and have fun. But it becomes a reality when we actually live here. And then when it becomes a reality, it becomes mundane because you're doing it time after time after time. And eventually you get bored of it and you think, I really can't be bothered now. So if you are coming out here, hopefully I haven't put you off. I'm sorry, guys. I just like to share things when it comes into my head. When I've got it in bee in my bonnet. I had a bee in my bonnet about this for 2 or 3 days now. And I thought, what? I'm going to share it. So hopefully it hasn't put you off coming out here. I just wanted to be honest with you and let you know about how it really does sit sometimes for us when we are living out here. So hopefully it'll give you a bit more of an insight from our side of the fence rather than from looking in. Okay, there we are. Thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, please remember to hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I bring out a new video. If you haven't, check out kick.com/Buzzin Pattaya. It's unfiltered, uncensored videos. We are going to build that platform as much as we can. We need to get to 2,500 followers. Please follow us on there if you do go across. It doesn't cost you anything, just follow us. Then when we go to see other businesses and bars, get the girls on the plate pool and games and stuff like that, it gives us an opportunity to say, look, we have got a decent following. So please have a look at Kick and follow us. There's a link down in the description below. If you haven't, check out Instagram. Instagram's all about the nightlife here. And TikTok is all about the daytime food reviews, hotel reviews, things to do, places to go. So have a look at TikTok. Join us on those, guys. And if you haven't, jump in the Discord. Over 22,000 members in there. That's totally free of charge. Fantastic platform for getting to learn information and ask advice, etc. if you're coming out on holiday. And if you're a seasoned traveller and you've been out here many, many times, again, it'd be great to have you on board to share your knowledge and share your experience and help other people. That'd be fantastic. And if you'd like to support the channel and the work that we do here on Buzzin Pattaya, please become a member on YouTube. And if you do become a member and you decide to become an elite member, please send me through confirmation of that. And when you do that, when you come out here on holiday, you'll get a Buzzin member card, and that card will entitle you to a free local spirit or local beer in the Buzzin Lounge for the duration of your stay. Right, there we are. That's it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And please, as always, wherever you're in the world, stay safe.